Was the ark present in Jerusalem during Yahusha's time? And if so, why is there no mention of it in the Gospels? The last explicit mention of the Ark of the Covenant in the Old Testament is Jeremiah 3:16, written around 600 BCE, which states, "In those days, when your numbers have increased greatly in the land, declares the Lord, people will no longer say, 'The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord.' It will never enter their minds or be remembered. It will not be missed, nor will another one be made." This prophecy from Jeremiah suggests that the ark would no longer be central to Israel's worship in the future. By the time of Yahusha's ministry, the ark is notably absent in the Second Temple. We can confirm the absence of the ark by the siege of Pompey. In 63 BCE, the Roman general Pompey the Great famously entered the temple in Jerusalem during his conquest of the city. After a prolonged siege, Pompey and his forces broke through the defenses of Jerusalem and entered the Temple Mount. Despite Jewish protests, he entered the Holy of Holies, the most sacred inner sanctum of the temple, which was traditionally forbidden to anyone except the high priest, and only on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. According to historical accounts, particularly from the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, in the Jewish War and Antiquities of the Jews, Pompey was curious to see the sacred treasures and objects believed to be housed in the temple. However, to his surprise, he found the inner chamber empty. There was no physical image or idol, which was unusual for temples in the ancient world. This encounter left Pompey and his Roman followers puzzled, as it contrasted sharply with the idol worship common in other religions of that time. Jewish tradition holds that the ark had been missing since the Babylonian destruction of the First Temple in 586 BCE. By the time of the Second Temple, the ark's exact location or fate remained a mystery, contributing to the mystique and reverence surrounding the Holy of Holies, even in its absence. The time between Pompey's invasion of Jerusalem in 63 BCE and the start of Yahusha's ministry around 27 to 29 CE spans approximately 90 to 92 years, confirming that the Ark of the Covenant was no longer in the temple during Yahusha's lifetime. The question now is, when did the Ark of the Covenant disappear? To unravel the mystery of its disappearance, we need to look back at 1 Samuel for deeper insight. The phrase, "the glory has departed," comes from 1 Samuel 4:21 to 22. This passage describes the aftermath of a devastating defeat of Israel by the Philistines, who also captured the Ark of the Covenant. Eli, the priest's daughter-in-law, upon hearing of the loss of the Ark and the deaths of her husband and father-in-law, names her newborn son Ichabod, meaning no glory, or the glory has departed. The verses read, "She named the boy Ichabod, saying, 'The glory has departed from Israel, because of the capture of the Ark of God and the deaths of her father-in-law and her husband.' She said, 'The glory has departed from Israel, for the Ark of God has been captured.'" We see that the Ark of the Covenant was truly considered the glory of Israel, a theme that appears again in the book of Ezekiel. The departure of God's glory from the temple in Jerusalem is vividly described in Ezekiel 10. The prophet witnesses a vision in which the glory of the Lord gradually leaves the temple because of the people's unfaithfulness and idolatry. Ezekiel 10:18-19 says, "Then the glory of the Lord departed from over the threshold of the temple and stopped above the cherubim. While I watched, the cherubim spread their wings and rose from the ground, and as they went, the wheels went with them. They stopped at the entrance of the east gate of the Lord's house, and the glory of the God of Israel was above them." This symbolic departure illustrates God's presence leaving the temple due to Israel's persistent sinfulness, signifying a period of spiritual desolation. This theme of departure connects back to the concept of the Ark as the seat of God's glory, emphasizing the gravity of his presence leaving the sanctuary. Shortly after Ezekiel's vision, King Nebuchadnezzar's forces captured Jerusalem and destroyed the temple in 586 BCE. They took various sacred items and treasures back to Babylon. These items are listed in several biblical passages, particularly in 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, and the Book of Daniel. The items taken included temple treasures and vessels. Gold and silver items from the temple's treasury were carried off as spoils, sacred furnishings and utensils. This included bowls, censers, pots, shovels, and basins used in temple rituals, bronze pillars, the sea, and stands. Nebuchadnezzar's forces dismantled the two large bronze pillars known as Jachin and Boaz, the massive bronze basin called the sea, and other bronze stands, gold and silver cups. These are mentioned in Daniel 1:2 and reappear in Daniel 5 when King Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's successor, uses them during a royal feast. Notably, there is no mention of the Ark of the Covenant among these captured items. The final mention of the Ark of the Covenant is in the New Testament in Revelation 11:19. This is the only explicit reference to the Ark in the New Testament, and it appears in a vision experienced by the Apostle John. In this passage, John sees the Ark not on earth, but in the heavenly temple. Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and within his temple was seen the Ark of his covenant. And there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, an earthquake, and a severe hailstorm. In summary, the Ark was taken by God from the temple before the Babylonian invasion and placed in the Holy of Holies in the heavenly realm, where Yahusha now ministers as high priest until his second coming. Hebrews 9:11-12. But Christ being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building. Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content.